Yo, Bachi 2007 coming at you again with another one for men's mind state and cultural reviews. We're going to take a listen to what's happening over in China once again. These men are not playing with these women over there. So let's get into this and hear about what's going on. We're going to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell coming through the door. And let's go ahead and get right into this.
我都不打算找对象了，单身不好吗？
I've decided not to look for a partner anymore. Isn't being single good? A lot of people ask me, your salary is already so high, why are you still worried about finding a partner? But I still don't plan to look for a partner. In short, I still can't afford to support one. Some friends have asked me, do you really need to support your partner? But what I'm thinking is, after getting married, I still have to buy a car and a house. Just the cost of a house alone could exhaust me for the rest of my life. Once the housing issue is solved, if I do get married, I'll still need to prepare a bride price. Here in Jiangxi, the bride price is about 400,000 to 500,000 yuan, right? But even if I work hard for a year, I can only save 20,000 to 30,000 yuan at most. Besides the bride price, there's also the wedding banquet, rings, buying a car, renovating the new house, and buying a lot of new appliances and furniture. I don't even dare to think about these costs, so I feel that being single suits me best.
Modern women literally aren't worth it, no matter what the economics are of various different countries. What they are in specific are different from one country to another, from the U.S. to China, but the fundamental disposition is still the same. The fundamental issue at hand is still the same. You've got mostly mid women, but either way, women who bring no value to the table other than their looks and the fact that they have a vagina, and yet demand the world financially out of men and otherwise. They demand not only the ultimate in finances out of men, but you also have to uh, do half of the child rearing, uh, be emotionally intelligent, and carry them in every kind of way. You need to lead them. You need to do all the planning. You need to do all the effort. You need to bring all the work along with meeting these grave financial demands. So I looked up some of the numbers that 400 to 500,000 yuan just to marry the woman. You have to basically pay to marry the woman is equal to about $63,000 a year. I put it at the mid mark of 450,000 yuan, and that's about 63,000 USD per year. And he was saying he can only save up about 20 to 30,000, which would be about 25,000. That's about 3,500 a year to one day to pay $63,000. So it would take almost 20 years to save up to buy some demanding woman who probably brings no value. It's the same from place to place. At least in Africa, when you pay the dowry, which aren't nearly that high by any means, it'd be 5,000, maybe 10, depending on the country and the woman. Um, at least the woman's family is responsible for the wedding and the cost of the wedding and providing for the wedding ceremony. He's got to pay to marry her and then has to pay for the wedding, buy the house, just do everything. And it's absolutely ridiculous. And this is why men are checking out. And they should check out. Why are you providing financing to women who bring no value? Why would you pay for no value? And it just keeps getting crazy. They don't seem to understand, but they're going to understand as the dating market dries up. They're going to understand more and more. And they talk about in China that the simp culture has collapsed. And I say right on.
你们知道现在的男生他到底有多清醒通透吗？
Do you know how aware young men are nowadays? My neighbor's son is in his early 30s and still single. During the new year, he came home driving a Mercedes E300. When chatting with him, I asked why he didn't bring a girlfriend home. He said that although he's not young anymore and has had several girlfriends, they all demanded a dowry of 300,000 to 500,000 renminbi, which is enough to buy a Mercedes.
He'd rather a car than a wife. One brings value, and when it comes to modern disordered women, the other does not. So it makes a lot of sense. Help provide some value to this channel by going ahead and liking or making a comment below. That helps to power this channel through the algorithm, bringing value to my channel, then bringing value to you. All right, let's get back into what he's talking about.
He said, "When I drive a Mercedes E300 home, my parents will think I am successful, and relatives and friends will praise me for my achievements. If I spend 100,000 renminbi on gold rings, gold necklaces, and gold earrings for marriage, that's equivalent to a year's worth of expenses for my business. To be honest, this amount of money could have been my startup capital when I was starting my business. What does this indicate? It's like a chance to change one's fate. I bought an iPhone for my girlfriend, and that money could have been used by my mom to buy a TV, a refrigerator, a microwave, and an air conditioner. If I spent 2 million renminbi on a wedding house, it would deplete my parents' savings accumulated over decades. If I don't get married, no one will take away my parents' lifetime savings." He also said that if he could truly find a gentle, considerate, and understanding girl, he would be willing to spend. But now he has seen through it and realizes that only by giving gifts, spending money, and making contributions can he get a fake "I love you" from her. Given this, he has decided to invest money in himself, improve himself, and get better results. He understands that only by becoming successful himself can he attract women who like, admire, and worship him. He no longer spends money on women but invests all his resources in himself. Only by becoming more valuable can he attract more women.
The object is to attract better women, more valuable women, not so much more women with the right mind state, so that you have leverage to be with the type of woman you want and not just be at the behest of these modern women who get to dictate to you how you can move in the sexual marketplace, and to make sure that you're in the right position to be able to get with the women you want, rather than having to simp to just take what you can get. And that's what putting yourself in a position of leverage is all about. And this guy finally figured out, first he seemed like he was simping, buying a woman an iPhone and spending up his money trying to get affection, but finally learned that it would be better for him to use his money to reinvest in himself, build himself up, not only just to be the best version of himself that he can be, but to make sure that he is going for only the women who are worthy to be in his realm. And of course, that is not most women in these highly developed societies, because they take on Western values as men build up the society to where women are in a position to be so-called economically independent. It's really not independence. It's based on men providing the social and societal and economic framework that allows women then to maneuver without needing so much that kind of physical on the ground protection from a man, and providing for a man, because men set up structures that allow women to then go out and function within those structures that the men set up. But there's no credit for that. Women pretend like they're doing it all on their own, that if men wanted to run up in their spot and take from them what they have, that they would have to go to who? The police. They would have to go to men, the actual officers, who would have to come out and confront that. They would have to, if they had to build society and infrastructure on their own, they couldn't do it. They wouldn't even try. They wouldn't want to do it, and they couldn't do it. That's why you don't see them out there on the rigs, on the bridges, welding them together, doing all these sorts of things that lead to us having the convenience of technologically advanced society that we have. So then they can pretend to believe that they are independent of men and don't need men. And so we have to be able to be in a position to go for the women who are available to and who want marriage and want to be submissive and want to have a family, and understand that they actually do need a man in his leadership. And so you need to put yourself in the best position to obtain those women who are further and farther between, or who require you to travel to get with. So investing in yourself and putting yourself in that right financial position, but also your physical needs to be on point. Everything needs to be on point, and your own mental needs to be on point, so that you can be ready to go and attract the women you want. We got one more for you before we get out.
10万块钱买辆车都比娶你划算。这是一个贵阳29岁未婚的男生在
Spending 10,000 USD on a car is a better deal than what's going on in this dating group. That's what a 29-year-old single man from Guiyang said during a matchmaking session. He makes over 200,000 USD annually and has decent conditions. The woman, on the other hand, is a 1-year-old divorced mother. She requested a 10,000 USD bride price. His response? A flat-out rejection. I'm never married. Why should I marry someone divorced? With 10,000 USD, I can buy a car and enjoy it every day. But marrying you means I have to raise another man's child. What do you think? Was his response too harsh?
Divorced single mama headed for the wall, and she has the audacity to be demanding money out of a man. The audacity to ask for a bride price. Bride prices are for virgins that the family's giving away. She already gave herself away to a man. They don't get another dowry. She shouldn't even be asking for one at all. It's not even the amount. It's the fact that she's even asking for one. She should be happy that a man would even think about marrying her, much less to raise another man's child. There's maybe some select situations where that might be doable, but from somebody who's already coming with the mind state that they are owed money as if they have any value as a new bride when you're already a divorcee who's already given yourself to a man is just crazy. Again, another man chooses a car over a woman. That is the new way of the world. The simp economy has collapsed in China, as they call it there, and likewise it has collapsed in the US and most of the Western world. So it's not even necessarily about East versus West. It really is about those highly developed countries because of the reasons that I illuminated earlier, how women are provided with so much protection and infrastructure to operate in that they can seem like they don't need men when they absolutely do. They wouldn't be able to operate and have these infrastructure if it wasn't for men and men maintaining it for their benefit. And even then, a great many of them still rely on food stamps and other assistance from taxes, which are primarily paid by men because we earn the most money within society. And so we see that they cannot do it on their own. And men are saying, hey, what's more valuable than a woman who thinks she's owed the world, who has a lot of mouth, who has a lot of attitude and just kind of self-centeredness and everything being about her happiness? I'm not going to invest in that. Instead, I'm going to invest in myself. And when I can find a woman that it might be worthy of it, like we heard in the story of the last lady, the one before this very last one, the guy was saying, hey, if I find somebody who's sweet and considerate and worth it, then I might be willing to spend some money. And that's the way it is for most of us. We don't so much mind the spending of the money. We mind the self-centeredness in demanding that we give you our money. The audacity is what we mind the most. And also the ridiculousness of the amounts, believing that you are owed luxury. Providership is not about giving luxury. You do not need to provide a woman with luxury. That is not your job as a man. That's in addition to, that may be an additional reward if your life and your finances provide for that, allow for that. But you do not owe a woman a luxury life. That is not based in anything, and it does not have anything to do with tradition. But we're going to get on out of here. If you would, make sure you leave a comment. What do you guys think about what's going on in China? How these fellows are coming to their own understanding of not sipping for these women any longer? Leave a comment down below. And also, if you'll like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you haven't before. Interact with us in some kind of way because YouTube does not send notifications to you anymore. But interacting with us will make sure our videos show up on your homepage. Maybe click one of these videos that are popping up now and watch 2 or 3 in a row. That'll definitely get us into your personal algorithm. We're out of here with this one. Yobachi 2007 from Men's Mind State and Cultural Reviews. Peace.